Um, I've got a story here from my uncle, Uncle Mose. Not to be confused with the Uncle Mose. He's not from Pigeon Inlet or anything like that. It's Mose Ingram. He's from Marm's Cove, and he's a fantastic writer. And I'd like to share one of his stories with you. It's about a school teacher that comes to a small outport community. So I'll share that with you there now. It's called The New School, Marm. You know, all that goes on these days reminds me when I was a young fella. And about one time that pretty young school teacher come to our place. You know, all the boys want to get out with her, but I made up my mind, be hook or be crook. I was going to be the first one to have a smack at her. Now, it just so happened that old Sam Smith across the harbour was having the time in his store on the very night that she got there. And I was lucky, see. So school marm staying down to me at Jessie's. So right after supper, I gets myself all slicked up, everything, you know. Put a few nails in my pocket, you got to have something to jingle, it makes a good impression. And off I goes, large as life, down to my Aunt Jessie's. Now, by the time I got there, boy, I wasn't feeling quite so brave. See, I was only a young cracky myself then, and asking any girl out was a big deal. And this wasn't just any girl. No, sir. This was the new school marm. So anyway, I waited around for a spell, and somehow I got up enough nerve to go in, and somehow got around to asking her out, and sure enough, she agreed to go with me to the time. So I waited around for a spell for her to get ready. And by the time she was ready, boy, it was near time to shove off too. So then me goes to the land wash. I lets her get in the dory before I shoves her off and hops in myself. Now you talk about somebody proud. Here I was, sir, rowing across the harbour. No school marm sitting in the aft of me dory. Boy, you talk about it. Pretty as a picture. Nice son, lovely red dress and brand new pair of rubber boots. Now by the time we got to Sam Smith's wharf, well, I held on to the boat, of course, and let her climb up first. Of course, now I looked the other way, because, you know, she was the school marm and I had to mind my manners. So anyway, by the time we got to the time, when the party was in full swing. So it wasn't long before we were kicking up our heels with the best of them too. Now after a little while, I looks around and the school marm was eyeing the boys and girls going outside in the dark. Hiram, says she. Yes, ma'am, says I. Dreadful warm, says she. Yes, ma'am, says I. Let's go outside, says she. And by the time we got outside, boy, didn't she ever snuggle up close. Boy, I can tell you, I was awful warm inside that store, but I could get awful hot out back at that store too. But she was the store marm. I had to mind my manners. Anyhow, a little while later, school marm figured it's time to go home. So then he goes to the wharf. Hiram, says she. Yes, ma'am, says I. Would you let me help you row? So I shoves over and passes her the other oar. And boys, I tell you that to this day, I really don't know if she knowed how to row or not. Because the next thing I know, we was high and dry on the beach over by Hazel Meadow. I gets up to shove her off, and schoolmarm puts her hand on my knee. Hiram, says she. Yes, ma'am, says I. I wonder is the grass wet. Be careful now, says I believe she's trying to tell me something. But she's the schoolmarm. I had to mind me manners. So anyway, we went ashore, we walked around for a spell, had a fine yarn, and sat down. This time it's coming on daylight. And the flies. Me son, the flies was as thick as a round lassie cake. By and by, this one great big fly come and pitched on her knee. Hiram, says she. Yes, ma'am, says I. Wouldn't you like to be that fly? Well, I believe this schoolmarm is trying to tell me something. And schoolmarm or not, this is not the time for manners. So, about a fortnight or so after that, I was kind of lying in my bed, mulling over some of the stuff that I heard the women talking about. See, that schoolmarm was a wonderful strict at school. She sent one young fellow home for 3 days because he seen her ankle. She sent another young whippersnapper home for a week because he seen her knee. So as I rolls over in my bed to go to sleep, I thinks to myself, there's one thing for sure, Hiram boy. you'll never have to go to school again. He goes,